my name is Jeff Balcom with Industry 9, and I'm going to give you the exclusive first look at our new road wheel line here on Bikerumor.com. The new road wheels that we're doing, a little bit of a different concept than what we had introduced before. These are going to be utilizing a bladed steel spoke, straight pull bladed steel spoke. Here on the rear wheel, we're using a two-cross drive side and non-drive side pattern to try and equalize spoke tensions between the two flanges. Something that's been done before, but we've got a bit of a unique take on it. Whereas we're not horizontally opposing the spoke heads, we're actually opposing them more vertically so that we essentially widen the hub flange spacing even more. If the spoke heads were horizontally opposed, like most people will do, you end up with a narrower inside flange width spacing. By spacing them vertically, you can essentially move the inner spacing of the flange outward, creating an effective wider spoke flange spacing, and it also allows us to lace the spoke more traditionally. Instead of having a couple millimeter gap where the spokes cross, like most companies you've seen do this, we actually are close enough to where we can weave the spokes more like a traditional 32-hole 3-cross, and that way we get a little bit better bracing through the webbed pattern of the spokes. We've also got it's going to be an 18-hole front and 24-hole rear system. For this particular model, we're going to have roughly 5 models of road wheels. This particular model that I'm holding here is a 30 millimeter deep, 450 gram niobium rim. We're sourcing overseas. Everything else, hub-wise, we're making here in-house at Industry 9. The front wheel is a more traditional 18-hole radial pattern, and what we've done with this is we've got about the widest flange spacing from any road wheel available right now to get the maximum amount of stiffness. The wider your spoke flange is, the better the bracing angle, the stiffer the wheel. We've chosen this width because through a multitude of testing and measuring different forks on the market, we found this is about as wide as we can go and still clear forks. There are a few very narrow spaced forks that require a certain amount of inward spacing of the spokes just to clear the fork legs. So we went as wide as we possibly could to bring you as stiff of a wheel as possible. And we've also through that moved the bearing as far outboard as possible, so that you've got your bearing surface areas as close to the fork as it possibly can be, and it's not joined. Instead of having a hollow space or two, we actually have an inner axle with a shoulder on it that rides against the bearing, so the bearing actually is supported through an entire inner front axle system, instead of like in some of the lighter weight hubs that you see, it's just a bearing, the end cap itself riding on the bearing and no support between the bearings, no lateral support. This is an actual truly laterally supported system with an end cap. So we could have shaved weight there, but it doesn't make it for a durable hub, and it doesn't make for quite as a stiff hub. So this is going to be a little bit tighter system. And you can also see we've gone with a large diameter end cap to get as much purchase area as we could afford onto the fork legs themselves, to also increase your stiffness. Between having one of the widest spoke flanges available with the bearings as far outward as possible, coupled with a really large diameter end cap with a large serrated surface, it's going to translate to definitely one of the stiffer 18 or 20 hole bladed front wheels on the market. And this even with the new steel spokes, these wheels are coming in model for model right around 65 to 70 grams lighter than our previous wheel sets, and significantly more aerodynamic because of the thinner spokes. We will have 2 aluminum clincher models, and I guess about four carbon fiber models available, and we hope to have all of these nicely stickered up and decaled up and brought to brought to the official launch at the Sea Otter in April.